Buddy, how's everyone doing tonight? Glad to see you all here. Mr. Street, I'm going to make you an organizer so you can help out with the question box. Uh-oh. There is a big red box on my screen that says, "You folks can't hear me." Eric, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right, cool. I will let you mute yourself because God forbid I make you talk too much. Got it out of the way right away. I was picking on Eric just a little bit ago, you guys. I was picking on Eric a little bit. I've been working him like a dog. Working him like a dog, says the man. He's putting in a lot of time. I can honestly say that Eric Street is without a doubt one of the best moves I've ever made in my marketing career. Was being fortunate enough to pick up Eric to help me out with some things. So a round of applause for Eric, everybody, because without Eric, I don't exist. That's really what it comes down to.
That's not true. That's not true.
Well, not completely, but they all get the idea. So yeah, one hand clapping doesn't count. Doesn't count, Rick. Let's put some backbone into it. Let's put some effort into it. So glad to have you all on the call tonight. I got a really strange echo going on here on my end, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Hopefully you can all hear me just fine. You say you can, so I'm just going to have to take your word for it. Lots of good friends, lots of new faces on the call tonight, too. Lot of interest in what we're going to be talking about tonight. Surprised me, to be honest with you. We had almost 300 people registered for this webinar tonight. So that's a cool thing because it's obviously something that everybody's got some interest in, and that became pretty obvious to me a little earlier on in the week. So we kind of decided, when I say we, I mean me, to expand on this a little bit. And this was going to be just a bonus webinar. A lot of people on the hang on a second, guys. Much better. A lot of people in our 2012 Business Prep E-Class had requested project management, and typically we would be having that E-Class right now as I speak. But since so many people asked about it within the E-Class, I thought that maybe the interest would be, pretty strong across the board. So I decided to let everybody in on this one. So that's a pretty cool thing on my part. Yay me. No. But what we're gonna do is we'll wait just a few minutes for everybody to show up before I get too far into it. But we're going to. We're probably going to turn this into 2 sessions, I think, guys, because as I was prepping for tonight, some things came up that I want to share with you guys, and I don't think that I would have the time to do it in the space of just 1 hour. So we're probably going to do it over the course of 2 webinars, probably one this week, and, well, not probably, here we are, and probably one next week, and we'll get you guys all squared away. Sooner or later, I hope everybody on the call is aspiring to build themselves a big, massive offline business that does everything for everybody. Not everything for everybody, but you know what I'm saying. I want you guys to be able to think about how you're going to grow into your business, and continue to expand and continue to develop it. And that's exactly what I'm doing in my offline business. Project management is an art, in my opinion. I've been very intimate in a lot of project management, a lot of areas of it because of my profession as an engineer. But by no means am I a project manager. I strongly suspect there's a gal on the call here tonight that is substantially better at it than I am. So she's probably going to jump in and tell me what I'm doing wrong, which is absolutely fantastic as well. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to handle this big project anyway. There's lots of different ways you can go about it, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to handle it. Now, this is probably overkill for a handful of, for most of your offline marketing projects. This is probably a little overkill, but this is a big project, okay? This is a big project. So it needs it. It's going to be multi-tiered and multi-leveled and multi-this and multi-that and newfangled. It might even be double-edged with a carbide tip or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's going to be a big project. Did anybody get the carbide tip joke? Or am I just amusing myself at this point? Yeah, that's what I thought. Too bad it's my webinar. I can make myself laugh if I want to. So that's what this is going to be all about. We're going to... thanks for being so brutally honest with me, Ray. Ray says, no, Dave, you're just amusing yourself. All right, I can take it. I'm a big boy. I got broad shoulders. We'll give it just a couple more minutes for everybody to get here. And then we'll tear into this thing. Oh, I'm a little caught up. You guys may have noticed if you were like on my webinar. Oh, I don't even remember. When did I do the webinar for CT? Was that last night? No, I think it was the night before. Thank you, John. Garofano says, don't quit your day job. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yet you always keep coming back. What's it say about you, brother? Huh? I did the webinar for CT, and I was just absolutely exhausted, and I was exhausted. It was still a pretty good webinar, but gave away a lot of good stuff and a lot of good information. It was still a pretty good webinar, but I think you'll notice a little more pep in my step tonight. So, yeah. Who's the bigger fool? Following the fool. Ha-ha! Hey, I like it. I like it. There's nothing better for me than when people come to my webinar and defend me, guys. So I want you to feel free to do that anytime you feel like it. Heather says, I loved your spam idea. Yeah, it's an idea, isn't it? We talked about that at CT's webinar too. So and we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna bring it up again because it kicks vicious amounts of ass. There's just no other way to put that. Let's see. It is 8:01 by my clock. We're gonna give it 2 more minutes exactly, and then anybody that's late, too bad. That's just how it's going to have to be. We're going to get this thing going. There will probably be some time for some questions at the end of this. I'm going to try and keep it to as close to an hour as we can tonight. Lots of things going on, lots of irons in the fire, lots of candles being burned at both ends. So there's always something to do. But I think we can cover what we need to in an hour here. And I guess we'll do another hour next week. I have the echo back. I don't know if is my audio all screwed up again?
A little bit, but there's a lot of people coming in right now, so it might be that too.
Yeah, there is quite a bit of activity, isn't it? Very bad audio. Yeah, Eric, turn your mic off.
It was until you just asked about the echo, but I'll turn it off again.
We'll see if that does it. It's gone now, so it must have been your fault, Eric. Sorry. Yeah, I know. I see that too. Somebody says that the system is showing that both of you are talking at the same time. I know. Eric complains that he has to talk too much and then he won't shut up. What am I supposed to do about that? I like the kid too much to just shit can him. We're going to tear into it. This is going to be large project management, guys. Like I said a few minutes ago, this is certainly not the project management approach you're going to take with most of your offline marketing. But I hope that all of you, have intentions of scoring some bigger projects like this. And when this pops up, it's going to be a reality for you. So here's the deal. This is the single largest contract of my marketing career to date, offline. It's estimated, it's just short of 200 hours worth of work, estimated. And I bid it a little low. I bid it at $47 an hour for a total of about $10,000 with additional fees. I'm a little low on purpose, and there was a reason for that. This is for a company that's owned by a parent company, and the owner of the parent company is a guy that I want more work from. So I bid this one a little bit low, and I would have liked to have been just a little bit higher on it. But the bottom line is this is a lot of work with a very hard deadline on it, okay? It's going to be hypercritical to treat it as a project, okay? There's many reasons we need to do so. If there's so many facets of this that we're going to need to, track everything so we know in the end how profitable or not profitable, hopefully not, but how not profitable we are. There's things at stake here such as reputation. There's deadlines in place. And because we're playing in the real world, kids, there's chargebacks and liability that we have to think about if we don't complete the job on time, in budget, or if we muff it up too bad. If we take these people's existing site down, we better be able to get the replacement site up. This is an e-commerce site, and we're going to go through the proposal and the contract here. This is an e-commerce site, so literally if it goes down, these people are losing money, and they would be within their legal right after they've issued me a PO. A PO is an applied contract. They'd be within their right to charge back on that loss, okay? There's going to be a lot of outsourcing on this particular job. For me to meet my goals, I need to ensure that my outsourcers are provided with clear, concise directions and firm, no excuses deadlines. That's going to be really, really important to me, okay? We're going to put a lot of time into managing the project up front because it's going to pay off in the end by keeping the project on the tracks. Now, I want to talk just for a quick second about that. Project managing, I'm going to have a solid between writing the proposal and writing the contract and revising the contract 2 or 3 times, which I have now, and then setting all of this up just to get the project started. I'm going to have 16 hours into it, we'll say, probably 2 full days, that I'm not billing for, okay? And that needs to be factored into your profit margin. Right now, there's some situations where you're going to be allowed to bill for those types of things, but not at the start of a project like this, So you're always going to have to know in the back of your mind, how long is it going to take you to manage this project, okay? And time tracking will be the only metric that delivers a clear picture about the profits, okay? We're going to have exactly 2 categories to decide if we're profitable in the end. It's going to be time tracking, because what did I pay outsourcers? B, what did I pay myself? What did I pay Eric? And then expenses, okay? And we need to know all of those things for lots of reasons, but number one, to decide if we're profitable, okay? Estimating this one took me about 3-4 hours. It really did. It's a big job, and it just took me time because I didn't want to just shoot from the hip and be wrong, because the implications of that are tremendous, okay? There's a handful of basic steps that we need to cover as we lay out a plan for this site. And again, we're going to go into the proposal. You're going to see what I'm talking about here very shortly. But we need to define the scope of the project, okay? We need to be very, very clear about exactly what we're trying to pull off. If you've ever built a website, you know that when you go back after the fact to include a feature you wish you to put in the front, you've doubled, tripled, or quadrupled your workload by doing it. So we need to understand right up front what we're going to have to do here, what we're going to have to do to make the customer happy and deliver as expected. And a lot of times your customer's not going to be able to communicate that to you. An example on this particular project was on one of the revisions rounds of contract, the contract came back from them redlined, and in the proposal it said complete tracking. Okay, they want complete tracking. That's what they wrote. My response to that was, what do you want to track? Conversion, bounce rate, unique hits, page views, what do you want to track? Well, they can't answer that question because they don't know what it is, and they don't have the manpower to use that data anyway. But if I would have just left it as complete tracking, well, that leaves a lot of ambiguity, and that leaves a lot of room for error. And sooner or later, it would have caused some type of discrepancy or argument. You need to be able to define a clear deadline so you can back out of it. And what I mean by that is, as you're setting up your timeline, if we know the deadline is May 9th, which it is in this case, and we have a pretty good idea of what certain things are going to take hour-wise, I'm going to start at May 9th and work my way backwards, instead of starting today and working my way forward. By starting at May 9th, working my way, backing out of it, as they say, working my way back from the finish date, I will be able to factor in a buffer and some safeties for myself, okay? You need to figure out who your team is, what your role, what's your assistant's role, and what you're going to outsource, okay? I just saw something in the question box. I apologize for that, guys. We'll come back to Q&A later. I'm going to close this thing down because it distracts me right now. And Eric, I'm assuming you're watching the question box, so you don't need to answer, but I'm just making that assumption. If you're not, start watching the question box. You need to define cooperative efforts, okay? By this, I mean, what are your client's responsibilities? If I'm building a website for you, you probably want to have some input on it, right? You probably want to approve graphics and things of that nature. And that all needs to be laid out as part of a legitimate project management effort, okay? Plan your work and work your plan. This is much easier said than done for most people, including myself. If I were to let Eric unmute himself and tell you right now, he would tell you that I have him making U-turns more often than not. And that's a huge mistake on my end. That non-productivity, in many situations, I've set Eric up to fail. Now, I understand that, and when I say fail, I don't mean fail in a traditional sense, but by constantly pulling him off of a task and moving him to a new one before task one is finished, then not getting him back onto task one as planned, it's a never-ending cycle. And that's why you really need, on a big project like this, you really need to be able to plan your work and then work your plan. And it sounds cool, too. You need to track and document everything. Everything, okay? Every note, everything. In today's modern world, emails are going to be considered standard communication. And in a court of law, most emails are going to be considered contractual, okay? So if I ask somebody something via email, and they reply or give me an approval or give me a yes, whatever the case may be, I need to make sure I save that email if I'm operating off of it. In other words, I ask them, hey, can I do this? They say yes. I go do it. If that's the only yes in writing that I've gotten, I need to hang on to that. I absolutely do, and I need to archive it with the project. You need to inform everybody involved at every critical step. You need to copy everybody on the project, because a lot of times you are going to be so involved or so target fixated on a single factor of the project that it is not going to occur to you how your decision affects somebody else. And by informing everybody involved at all the critical steps, that'll make it a lot easier, okay? We'll be taking what's called a gated approach to this project, okay? Think of it as a project moving from one stage to the next. And between each stage, there's a gate, okay? And the gate doesn't open until every requirement of the previous stage is met. There's a lot of project management software out there that will refer to these gates as dependencies. And if you remind me later, I'll show you that here as we get into it. So you'll see that word a lot, dependencies. You'll see it in project management software and Gantt charts. And if you've never seen a Gantt chart, we're going to show you one of those too. I'm going to recommend a book here, and then we're going to jump off of the slides and get into some live stuff and tackling the job, the task at hand. This is a book called The Goal. And the goal literally changed the way progressive thinking businesses do business in America. It is written, I don't want to say it's written as an engineering or manufacturing text, but it's definitely focused that direction. Ilya Goldratt wrote the book, and he talks about theory of constraints. And you guys have heard me mention TOC before. And we don't have the time to get into it, but I highly recommend this book. And we'll put a link up under the replay, wherever the replay winds up going as well. I can't say enough good things about this book. If you don't have time to sit down and read it, get it in books on tape and listen to it in your car. It will absolutely change the way you think about a lot of things in your business. I can't say enough good things about this book. We're going to use projectmanager.com for this one. And we're going to pop over there in just a second. Now, many of you don't know this, but if you go into your cPanel in your hosting account and you open up your Fantastico, the same miracle software that will install WordPress in one click, there's project management software there available for you too. There's .project, which is a PHP-based open source project management software that gets rave reviews and has all kinds of plugins. And there's Project with a K available to you too. Now, my intention, and I'll be honest with you, I had never used the .project before. I had played with it, and I had never actually set up a project with it. I had it installed on my server and have had for a long time. I went in there today and started using it. I was actually going to start laying this project out in .project. And unless you're a coder, flush that thing down the toilet. That's what I have to say about it. It's wonderful stuff, but it's not very intuitive. You can tell it was written by coders. It's very database feeling, it's just got that database kind of feel to it, and it didn't work for me. So I'm going back to an old standby, which is projectmanager.com, that I've been using for quite some time for engineering projects, and it's phenomenal software. And I think we're going to pop over there right now and check it out. Let me show you this real quick. This is projectmanager.com. And this is your landing board, which gives you, or your landing page, which gives you all of your key metrics at a glance. I love this because you can take screenshots of certain things and send them to clients. You can export the reports and send them to clients. And it's just absolutely a fantastic piece of software. They do have a free trial, and then I think it's $25 a month per member, right? So if I'm going to have 3 people working on this project, I'm going to pay $75 a month. But then you can, upgrade, downgrade at any given time, and client logins are always free. So you can always give your clients logins as read-only to check on the status of their stuff. Once you're built a project, and I've just got a sample in here, but once you've built a project and you click on the task list, this is what it looks like, okay? This is called a Gantt chart. And what a Gantt chart is it's a very visual way to see a timeline and see how every task is dependent on other tasks. For instance, if I just take oh, is this not going to work because of GoToWebinar? That's exactly what's going to happen. Shoot. Well, let's say, for instance, the design database task here goes long, or we decide it needs more time. What happens is I can drag this over, right, and add a couple more days, and all of the dependent features then update. Okay? I can also adjust the overall length of the individual section. So in this case, we have analysis, design, development, testing. Each one of them is broke down into subcategories, okay? And I can adjust the main category, or I can adjust the subcategory. But the reason this is so good is because this really isn't working with GoTo on. That's too bad. Because all of your dependent features, if you've set up this pyramid correctly, are going to update. And you're going to be able to pop in here anytime you want and get a realistic update of what's wrong. Okay? ProjectManager.com also gives you this in calendar format. So we can take a look at any day on the calendar and see what should be being worked on and where it is in terms of, a regular calendar. It allows us to have discussions. It allows us to record expensive. And this is one of the best features, in my opinion, ever. It's the risks and issues functionality, okay? You can set these triggers up in here that when a certain thing doesn't happen on time, it puts it into a different risk category. So you can go from green to yellow to red, okay? And then at a glance, you can tell where everything's at, what's in trouble, and what's not. And that ties in with our Issues tab here, okay? It has a change log. So as we all know, we've all been in software with feature creep or scope creep. Now we have a change log that we can put those changes into and deal with them. So like I said, I've been using ProjectManager.com for quite some time. I absolutely love it, and that's what we're going to use for this project. So now what we're going to do for the rest of the evening here is we're going to go through the contract a little bit. We're going to go through the proposal, and then we're going to take the proposal and we're going to divide it up into the chunks that are going to get plugged into this guy, into ProjectManager.com. And then I'm going to get all those things plugged in, and so I can get them submitted to the client, and we can get started on the project. And then next week, we're going to go over exactly how all of this works, and hopefully, in the meantime, I will be able to get some kind of resolution on, why this isn't working the way it should. And then we'll go through the whole project here. So let's take a look at this thing for a second. This is, let me scroll back up to the top here. This is the proposal. And let me just zoom in on this guy. This is for a power sports company with an existing e-commerce website. Okay? And they need a complete refit of their website, or they want a complete refit of their website anyway. So this is the proposal. This is the basic outline of the proposal. And I know I said this last week to the handful of people that were there. I will make this proposal and the contract available to anybody that's on this call tonight too. We'll get this replay up. We still have a replay that we owe you guys, a couple of you from last week. I'm still working on it. The recordings are just absolutely horrible in GoToWebinar lately. Like, it takes, when we get done with this, if it's 1 hour call tonight, it's going to take me, well, not me, but my computer's going to need to chew on it for like 14 hours. And then if anything happens in the meantime, it just errors out. So I'm doing my best with the recordings. I apologize. It's really out of my control. Eric and I talked just the other day. I'm going to get a second computer going just so I can be running Camtasia and recording these webinars, so I have a backup. So, for this Power Sports webinar, we've got all new graphics. It's currently on some HTML Flash BS template, so it's going to go on WordPress. We've got a shopping cart integration. We've got an affiliate program integration. They want a live help ticket chat system. We have all the keyword research so we can provide the proper SEO. Now, we're not entering the product, but we have to give them the knowledge to SEO the descriptions as they enter them. We need to analyze their existing PPC campaigns and enable conversion tracking. Tracking across all phases of the website. We talked about that a little bit. That's actually going to wind up being complete tracking with including a heat map, so we can tell what people are looking at and what they're clicking on. So it's going to be pretty extensive. There's going to be a lot of social media integration. We'll be building a Facebook fan page and updating the look of their existing YouTube channel, and then obviously having like and tweet buttons and all that stuff. We're going to integrate an opt-in with an autoresponder service, which they don't currently have. And we're going to be split testing whether or not we force an opt-in to view instruction sheets for the products to see which one draws more people. The website needs to be searchable. It needs to have video and photo richness across the site. It needs to have a product fit chart viewable on the site dynamically. In other words, they currently have their fitment charts because they have products that fit different models of ATVs and snowmobiles, that kind of thing. They want me to find a way to read where their fit charts are on their server and dynamically display them on the site. So when they update them, they automatically update on the site. They want a partner page. It needs to be compatible with all major browsers, and they want a press release page. Okay, so here's just a little summary that I wrote. Companies in need of a new fitment chart, and here we get into the actual specifics. Okay, website graphics. I've got in at 15 hours because it's going to be a shopping cart style website, and this company is going to be able to provide me with a ridiculous amount of existing images. I put it at 15 hours for 3 mock-ups and 3 major revisions. I'm pretty confident that we're going to be okay in this category. Graphics will have to be sliced up, so they fit. They become site-compatible images. And obviously, for branding purposes, I need to integrate as much of their stuff as they have that I can. The WordPress installation. I'm going to flowchart and sitemap the site and offer them 3 revisions on that as well. So in other words, I'm going to flow, this is the landing page, this is where people can go from there, and I'm going to give them an opportunity to revise that 3 times. That was more of a marketing ploy because I don't think they will. I don't think there will be but 1 revision. So I don't think it's going to cost me any time, but by putting 3 revisions on there, I thought it looked pretty good. It was kind of a marketing ploy. We're going to be installing WordPress on their domain, on their server. Correlate the design and CSS of the website. Install the proper plugins and features for SEO tracking and functionality. We're going to integrate and set up the cart to allow for templated product entry and categories and navigation to be determined. Okay? And we'll talk about these TBDs here just a little bit later. This comes back to what I was talking about with the customer responsibilities. We're building a mobile website. Okay, so we're going to flowchart and sitemap that, give them 3 revisions on that, install the browser detection and switching script, proper plugins, features to maximize SEO tracking, functionality, and categories and nav to be determined. The shopping cart integration, I have 30 hours each incidentally, on the WordPress install and the mobile website install. Shopping cart I've got in here at 45 hours. I strongly suspect there's 4 to 5 hours here of researching potential carts based on the requirements. I'm going to provide them with a recommendation and a feature comparison sheet so they can choose a cart. I'm going to install and integrate the cart. The cart needs to support shipping estimates and be capable of integrating with UPS and USPS. It needs to be able to match the website. They want video product integration with the cart, so they want to be able to have a pop-up YouTube video at some point during the purchase process. We need to be able to force them to accept the terms and conditions pre-sale, and they want tracking on the checkout progress. In other words, they want the customer to be able to log in, see if the product has shipped, and get a tracking number right from that login to try and minimize the phone support that they're currently giving. And of course, it needs to be on a secure SSL. The affiliate program, I got 20 hours in for this to research and review potential programs, provide a recommendation, feature comparison, and integrate the program based on their decision. Now, because this is physical product, I strongly suspect that the affiliate program that will wind up getting used is going to be Commission Junction or Share a Sale or one of the existing services. And I don't think my integration time is going to be ridiculous because of that. If I had to install an affiliate program, so to speak, it would be a lot bigger deal. Like if this was an info product, I think I'd have more than 20 hours for this. But because it's physical product, I believe I'm going to be using CJ or Share a Sale probably. This company already does a lot of selling on Amazon, so they're familiar with affiliate programs, and they want an indie program. A live help chat system. We're going to put, currently, the way this company is operating is they do email support. Excuse me, guys, here, I kind of pulled my headset off. They do email support now, and they do a ton of phone support. This was my suggestion to them, was the live help chat system, because the problem with their phone support is if the receptionist forwards the call to one guy, he's not at his desk, the customer leaves a voicemail. When in fact they have 3 people capable of offering support. So with a live help chat support system, it's going to go into queue, and any one of the 3 of them are going to be able to deal with that support. And I think it's really going to alleviate their phone support. So this was my recommendation, and since we're using WordPress, it's a simple plug-in to pull off. They want an FAQ knowledge base. That was they wanted that. They requested it. And again, with the WordPress plug-in, it's very easy to pull off. And we want to set it up to automate the support as much as possible, obviously. And it needs to integrate with all current support personnel. Keyword research and on-page SEO. We're going to consult with them to explore various strategies, okay? We're going to perform keyword research for desired SEO effect. We're going to provide instruction on the proper SEO structure for content added by their personnel, okay? What I'm talking about here is this company builds a lot of winch mounts, okay, for ATVs. We need to make a decision, or their marketing people need to make a decision, whether or not we want to SEO individual products for individual models. In other words, do we want to try an SEO for Grizzly winch mount and Can-Am winch mount, Yamaha winch mount, or do we want to use all of that SEO power to just try and rank for winch mounts? And that's the marketing strategy that's going to need to be decided on, and we will be participating in that and making recommendations, but not making the decision. That will fall on them. Okay? We need to utilize proper WordPress plugins and permalink structure, desired structure, there's a typo, stricture for desired on-page SEO. Spell check didn't catch that, incidentally. We're going to deliver all research to the PowerSports company, and we're going to provide a template of the product description to match those SEO recommendations. Okay? I've got 4 hours in here to analyze their existing PPC campaigns and recommend changes. Developing and implementing new PPC campaigns is going to be $167 per campaign and will include keyword research, develop multiple ads per category for split testing, deliver in a format ready for import, and training them to self-manage those campaigns. Tracking, we're going to be installing Google Analytics across the site and across all campaigns. We'll be installing Aweber or equivalent email autoresponder. We're installing heat maps. We're setting up systems for split testing landing pages and product tracking for registered users. That comes back to the in-cart product updates. Social media, we're going to be building them a fan page designed to capture leads. we're going to install a post to Facebook plugin so they can update their blog and it'll automatically update their Facebook fan page. We're going to research and recommend PPC. We're building a custom YouTube channel, actually just a background for their existing YouTube channel. Social media linking on the site and liking of products, okay? And then I have a disclaimer in here that things like tracking programs, autoresponders, plugins, shopping carts may have monthly fees or require a purchase, and these costs are not included in Exhibit A, okay? This is the proposal. This is actually one copy old. This went up by another couple $100. So this is the proposal. Now the proposal winds up doing double duty because when I'm first prospecting this company, this would have my company name and address up here, and this would be a website development proposal, okay? Well, the minute they've agreed to the proposal, then it becomes Exhibit A, and Exhibit A becomes part of this contract, okay? I'm going to go through here and touch on just a couple of key features in this, and then we're going to get back over to this guy and have Eric start taking some notes for us, and we're going to start defining some roles, responsibilities for some of this stuff, okay? I'm going to let me open the question box for just a second. Eric, are there any major questions we should be addressing right now before I switch to the contract?
We had a couple questions about like what plugins you're going to be using and what shopping cart and stuff, but I think
I don't know.
we haven't even figured that out yet. So
yeah, I don't know. Those decisions are going to be largely based on the customer's choices. My job will be to research and recommend based on features, but I don't have anything chosen yet. A big portion of the project will be written as research as we get into it, and I don't want to put time into that research right until I've got a done deal, until I've got a locked up contract, because I can believe it's going to be substantial. But I will, everybody that's on this call tonight, you'll have an opportunity to just continue to follow this project along. I'll give you updates on it. Like I said, we're going to do a second webinar specifically about the project management next week to finish this thing up and get the project going. But I will keep you updated all the way along, okay? So like I said, your proposal is going to become Exhibit A. Let me zoom in on this guy here. Why can't I figure this out? There it is. Okay. And I'm going to get you, I have to clean this up and put some lines back in here where I have dates, I suppose. But I'll get you guys a copy of this agreement as well. And this is a lawyer-drawn web development contract. Okay, so this is a good one. It was expensive. I'm not going to cover a lot of things in the contract here, but I do want to cover a handful of things. Mostly in the responsibilities section, okay? Our responsibilities, we probably have a pretty good understanding on. But in my opinion, this section right here, responsibilities of the company, this is critical. And it's critical that it has the things in it that you need the company to do. Now, the reason for that is if we don't make the company understand in our timeline that our timeline is dependent on them fulfilling their obligation and their requirements on time every time, then we're allowed to slip because we, in effect, are waiting for them at that point. Okay? So this is a section that if you're going to use this contract, you absolutely want to be very, very clear about the things that are in here, okay? So you need to read it over and add a sub, add a paragraph if you need to. I added F to this one just for this one job. I just went in and plugged it in. And you don't have to get real hung up on the here-tos and the wherefores and the art, I mean, you don't have to get too hung up on lawyer speak here, okay? I'm not telling you that you shouldn't. but I don't. If it makes sense and it reads correctly, then I'm okay with it because I believe that I've protected the intent and the spirit of the document, and I think that's the most important part. The maintenance period, this is the warranty, okay? This is how much warranty I have to give them once this thing's up. Now you'll notice this says 60 days, okay? You need to be aware of this, this specifically, because what happens if Internet Explorer changes levels and all of a sudden your site doesn't work, right? So if you have this 60-day maintenance period in here, you have to understand that the job's not done when it's done. There's another 60 days that are your responsibility, okay? This is pretty standard stuff, confidential information, representations and warranties. Like I said, you can read all of this, and I think it all makes quite a bit of sense, if you just read through it. So we won't cover too much of it, but I will get you guys a copy of this contract. Incidentally, the contract, when paired with Exhibit A, becomes a 17-page document. So it's extensive, and for a project of this size and this caliber, I think that it needs to be. Eric, are you ready to take some notes for me? I'm gonna guess.
I am.
All right, excellent. So what we want to do here, guys, is I want to go through here first of all, and I want to decide what needs to happen when. And most importantly, I need to decide what needs to happen first. Okay? So let's take a look at this category by category, and I'm going to try and blow through this pretty quick so we can keep on trucking here. Website graphics. All right. What do I need for website graphics to happen? Well, I probably need the customer. Eric, what you're going to want to do here is get like 2 pages going. One for priority, first priority, and one for customer responsibilities. That's what I'd like you to do, if you would, please. So for website graphics, okay, I'm going to want the customer to provide me with all of their images, obviously, immediately. And I'm going to want them to provide me with links to websites that they like the look and feel of. Okay? I'm going to put those responsibilities on them, and I'm going to put a pretty tight timeline on them. I'm only going to give them like a couple of days to do that because I need that information so I can get the website graphics going. Website graphics are going to be on the priority page. I want to get that going as soon as possible because it could take a couple of weeks. I'll be outsourcing it. I think I'll be outsourcing it. I might play with it for an hour myself until I absolutely disgust myself. But I think I'll be outsourcing it, more than likely, okay? WordPress installation. The flowchart needs to come very early in the process. Eric put that on the priority sheet, okay? The customer needs to be aware of when they're going to receive the flowchart and how long they have to approve it. If they're going to ask us for a tight timeline and a deadline, then we're going to push right back and we're going to make them hold that same damn deadline because that's the only way we get it done, okay? The WordPress installation on a local server, that's not really a priority and it's pretty simple. It's going to come in the middle. Correlate design and CSS of the website, that kind of falls into website graphics to a degree. Integrate the shopping cart. That's not really a it's not really a priority at this point. Okay. Categories and navigation. All right. That is going to be a customer requirement. I need to know from them how they want their products broken up into categories and what they want navigation. In other words, do you want a button for ATV accessories or do you want 10 buttons, one for ATV winch mounts, one for ATV sport racks, one for ATV hitches, You see what I'm saying? Those are all things that I need to know up front from the customer. So Eric, that goes on the priority sheet and on the customer sheet. Categories and navigation for desktop site. The mobile website installation, same thing. We got to have flowchart in here. Flowchart's going to go on our priority. Flowchart approval is going to go on the customer's responsibilities. Okay? And then we have the same categories in nav from up above. And we're going to give them, like I said, very little time to make a decision on that because we don't want them holding us up. Okay? We're going to research and review potential shopping carts. This is a research function, so it's going to be number one. It's absolutely going to be number one. Anything to do with research has to happen first. So that's going to be number one. On the customer side, we're going to need them to review our research and make a decision. Okay? The integration, that'll happen in the middle, obviously. Force and accept terms and conditions. Okay? Notice I have right in here, customer supplied. On the customer requirements, let's put a note on there that we need the terms and conditions for point of sale. We need that as soon as possible. Now, I don't need that, obviously, immediately, but I want to make sure that they know I'm going to be requiring that in the very, very near future. Things like their SSL information, all of that kind of stuff, that's kind of an assumed thing. We know they've got it now. It's a matter of an email to harvest it, so I'm not going to worry about that from a project management standpoint and time tracking. Affiliate program, first thing we've got here is review and research potential programs. It needs to be number one on the priority sheet. And again, on the customer responsibilities, we need to we need to get their decision. Okay? So that needs to happen there. The Live Help chat system, they're probably going to listen to whatever I tell them, and I've got a pretty good idea which plugin I'm going to use here. However, I need a list from them of support personnel and whether or not they want that personnel all to have admin access to this system, or if they would like to designate one admin to the system. Okay, I already know that they're going to designate one admin for the website, and that's why it's not on here, because it was talked about. The keyword research and on-page SEO. We need to. This is a medium priority, I'm going to say, because it is research. However, we need to get a little ways into it before it becomes a roadblock. Okay, so we're going to put it down at the bottom of the customer responsibilities because they need to decide what their marketing strategy is for me to properly SEO their marketing strategy. And when I say me, I mean an outsourcer. Because as you guys have all heard me say, I don't know anything about SEO and I don't want to. Basic SEO for physical products like this, it's really not that difficult. There's not going to be any magic tricks here. This is going to be your basic on-page SEO with the correct permalinks, title tags, and proper descriptions based on basic keyword research. So it's not going to be real tricky. If they want to get into a backlink building situation or an ongoing SEO support after the website is done, I would be outsourcing that. Some of this we'll wind up doing ourselves. Okay. Early on within this research, we need to perform the keyword research to pull off the effect that they're looking for once they've decided on a strategy. Okay, so I need them to decide on this strategy very early on because I know that they're going to have to put some time into making that decision. So I want to hit them with that right away. Okay, utilize proper WordPress plugins. This is easy for us guys. We're marketers. They don't know how easy this is for us. So we're going to deliver all of our research to the Powersports company, and we're going to provide them a template of product descriptions to match our new SEO model. Okay. This is going to come dead last, analyzing their existing PPC campaigns. Okay, this is going to be the last thing we do. I can promise you that, because it's not critical to getting the website done. Okay, it's just not. Let's take a look at tracking. What do we need here? Well, we're going to need to research and recommend an autoresponder service. We're going to need to research and recommend a heat map service. We are going to need the customer or the client to choose an autoresponder service and to choose a heat map service based on our recommendations. Okay, those are things that we need to know, and we need to know right away, because we need to have that software picked out moving forward so we don't have a bunch of rework integrating it. Okay, the social media. We need to build a Facebook fan page with a matching look. So what's this? This is a dependency, like we talked about earlier. We can't build it with a matching look until we know what the look is. So that is absolutely, where'd it go? There it is. That is absolutely a dependency on the graphics. And when I set this up inside of Project Manager, you will see that it is and how the two of them affect each other. Okay? Let's see, what else? The research and recommend Facebook PPC, that can come later. Install post Facebook plugin, that's not really a dependency. The YouTube channel, social, yeah, that's not a whole heck of a, it's not uber important, okay? So that's how I'm going to attack this. Now basically what's going to happen is you're thinking about project management as you're writing the proposal, okay? So as I'm doing this, look at what I've got going here. Let me move the go-to box out of the way here so I can do some of this stuff here. Close that guy, and let me just shrink this one down here a little bit, okay? So look at what I've got going here. What do you notice here? Well, here's my category, right? Here's my category. Here's my subcategory. Here's my subcategory. Now, that's not going to be a direct translation. It's not going to just be thrown over the fence, as they say, because like I said, I'm going to have my analysis section first. But nevertheless, I've tried to structure each category and break it down into subcategories while I was writing the proposal. Okay, I did this for a couple of reasons. As I wrote this proposal, each one of these subcategories had a time estimate next to it, right? So then at the end of the proposal, I go through and I tally up all of the time estimates. That becomes that number right there. And then I can get rid of them and move on to the next one. So as we start to plug these things into projectmanager.com, you will see our timeline built out in front of us, and you will see how one thing becomes dependent on another thing being done. And that's why, again, I'm not going to get into TOC, Theory of Constraints. Read the book. But you'll find that your constraint is not always what you think it is, and is very rarely where you think it is. And that's one of the beauties of a Gantt chart like this, because we live in a visual world, and we become more and more visual all the time. So having a visual reference, having a dashboard that looks like this, where we can immediately come over here and get visual references on everything, changes, issues, risks, tasks, resources, cost, time, right? It's important, because by having these visual references, it allows us to get the health of the project in an instant. And it saves us a ton of time. And that's why I like softwares like this. Like I said, I've been using projectmanager.com for quite some time in my engineering life. So that's what we're going to use for this one. We're knocking pretty hard on an hour here, so we're going to break right here. Like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of this plugged in to my project manager, and then we are going to do a second webinar. And I'm going to show you exactly how it all played out. and exactly how one thing becomes dependent on another thing and how the entire project's health becomes dependent on the very first thing happening at the right amount of time. We'll do that webinar next week. We're starting on this project on Monday and getting it moving. I have a 60-day deadline on it. I'm confident we're going to hit it. I don't know if it's going to be as profitable as I want it to be, but I will keep you guys informed throughout the project of any hiccups or glitches or changes, and at the end, report the profitability. I think this will be a nice, cool adventure for you all to follow along on, and I think if you're planning on growing your offline company, this is absolutely phenomenal information for you. What I just showed you took me years and years and years to get a handle on, folks. Okay, so I hope that I can shave some of that off of there for you. So, Eric, do you have any questions in the can that we should address? Otherwise, I'll start scrolling. Actually, I'm going to let you read the questions for you because my throat's getting a little rough.
A lot of positive feedback. People are saying this is good stuff. Good to see this, put out in visual form for them. Let's see. Somebody did ask a Facebook question, but I lost it here somewhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions in the question box, guys, so be patient here. But we'll stay on another 15 minutes here and try and get through the bulk of them.
A lot of them are suggestions for the possible WordPress plugins that we could have used.
I would love to hear them. Please forward them to me. Please forward them to me. I also, if anybody on the call is looking for some outsourcer work, I would listen. I would take resumes and the things that we'll be outsourcing for sure will be graphics and potentially some shopping cart integration stuff.
Tom asked why you didn't put a buffer in your in the estimate to make sure it was done right.
Well, I think I did. I think I have a time buffer in there, Tom. My concern about the estimate is that I shot it to him at 47 an hour, and I should have been up in the 65 an hour range. I did that on purpose. Like I said, this company is owned by a parent company. The parent company I've done a little bit of work for in the past, and the main owner of the parent company also owns some other companies that I know for a fact need some web work and, very frankly, some engineering work. So I bid this one at last year's rates, so to speak, to make them a one-time deal, and kind of I wanted this one pretty bad. I wanted this one pretty bad because I think this is going to be an excellent portfolio piece for me. It's got everything. It's got everything from, affiliate program to shopping cart to live help, mobile site, e-commerce site. It's got everything. So this is going to be a really good portfolio piece, and because I'm going to be outsourcing the tough stuff, I think I'm going to be okay on it. I think I'm going to be okay.
We did have a couple more questions pop up here. Do you get the client to sign the contract?
Yes, absolutely. What happens is, like I said, there's two pieces to this thing. Let me open this one back up. So this is the contract. Well, if it opens. This is the actual contract, and the whole thing refers to Exhibit A. And the proposal becomes Exhibit A, and then gets attached to the contract as Exhibit A. But here is the signature page right here. And like I said, this is a lawyer-drawn contract, and I will get you guys a copy of the contract and the proposal. The proposal may come in handy for you, if nothing else, to use as a template for your own proposals. So I will get you those. Oh, I see. Yeah, Eric has to. Just kill your mic, Eric. Yeah, I'll open the question box up here. For whatever reason, when you got your headphone on or your mic on, nobody can hear. And we all know I like to be heard. Let's see. Check out woot.com for real-time analytics, and I think heat maps and live chat. Excellent. If anybody's got any tips or advice, has done this kind of stuff, there's probably people on this call that do this every day and have done it. I would love to hear any suggestions that you have. You can obviously get them to me on Skype at Dave Igo, all one word, Dave Igo, I-A-G-O, or you can send them to us at support@wreckingballmarketing.com. Support@wreckingballmarketing.com. If anybody's got any interest in doing some of the outsourced work that you've heard me talk about tonight, send a resume over or a portfolio or both, and I will absolutely consider it. But suggestions, I absolutely love to hear some suggestions, so bring them on. Have you considered security for your WordPress installation? Why WordPress? Those are both great questions. The original plan was to use Drupal, okay? I don't know anything about Drupal. They don't know anything about Drupal. The situation that they have right now is that they have an HTML website that they paid big money for. It's got a lot of Flash on it, and the gentleman who has to deal with it doesn't know how to. He does, on the other hand, know WordPress like the back of his hand, as do I. So the WordPress was a natural fit. If I was going to do anything other than WordPress here, I would probably be working an arbitrage model and just passing it on to somebody else, which on a project this big I think would get quite sticky and quite messy. So that's why WordPress. They are not doing the kind of volume on a minute-by-minute basis that WordPress is going to drag them down at all. I thought about that, the speed thing, during the purchase, but they're not doing enough of it fast enough where that's going to be an issue, and everybody involved is comfortable with WordPress, so that's the decision we made, and that's the reason. Lots of great shopping cart themes out there for WordPress, too. Lots of great shopping carts. Tom says, no, Dave, not a time buffer, a money buffer. Well, this is an estimate, Tom, and it's contracted as an estimate. And when you see the contract, you'll see, like any written estimate, I can go 10% over without even notifying them. I have the expenses written in separately. And very frankly, the relationship is such that if there was something that really, really went bad, I could have an opportunity to renegotiate. But with all that said, I still think I'm going to be in pretty good shape. You got to keep in mind here, we don't have to upload any of the products, which is going to be the single biggest time-consuming portion of this. All we need to do is put the categories in place and show them how to write a proper SEO description, and they're going to take care of uploading all the products. So we don't have to do that, and that's going to be huge. So I think we're going to be in good shape. I really do. Let's see. If they have an existing Facebook account, will you need their existing details to develop a fan page on their behalf? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I will. And that's another, when you're doing something like this, you need to be as careful as you possibly can to not be making assumptions. Well, obviously, they know that. No, they might not. They might not. Okay? And that's an excellent point. And there will be requirements. Obviously I'll need that information. But I know I'm not going to have a difficult time getting it from them in a hurry. There's several people there that can provide me with that information if I need it. This is a big company, guys. This is 125 employees here. So there's people around that are going to be able to get me those types of things. as I need them, but it's important to be thinking about that. Are you going to educate them on managing their social media going forward? Do they have a social media manager? They are going to get minimal education on managing their social media and be pushed into hiring me as their social manager. I don't know why I'd do it any other way, Kristen. I will give them, I'll give them training that they need, but they haven't contracted me to train them on social media. They've contracted me to implement some social media, and then I give them, an OTO right here for ongoing maintenance. So it would be much better, in my opinion, to get them into an ongoing maintenance situation that puts, $700-800 a month in my pocket, and obviously I will nudge them in that direction. Is this a situation where customers can find research products and have those delivered with a physical location? Yes, these are real physical products that people are ordering and having shipped to them. They're ATV parts and snowmobile parts. That's exactly what we're doing here. Do you send this agreement to the client after he pays up the deposit or before? No, the agreement's going to get signed before the deposit. I actually have the signed agreement that's been signed by me and them. This is not it. This is one I cleaned up, that I just grabbed so we could go through it here, and took the sensitive data out of it. But I already have a signed agreement on this thing in place. So we're starting on Monday. Thanks so much. This has been great. You're very welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yes, my Skype always says do not disturb, so not sure if you get the messages. I do. My Skype is set to do not disturb, so I don't have to listen to that stupid Skype noise. And very frankly, if I'm on a project, I don't want to be disturbed. But if you send me a message, I do check it pretty frequently, and typically I will see your message within a couple hours on the outside. Usually it's much quicker than that, and I will respond to you. So disregard the do not disturb and send the message over. Just know that I'm probably not staring at it as it comes over, and it may be a half hour before I get back to you, something like that. Take a look at Cart Freak, says Keith. Excellent. With a U rock in all caps. I dig it. I'm picking up what you're laying down, man. Can you check your mail? Yeah, Keith, was that you looking for the SPS link? You know what happened? I saw it this morning, man, and I don't know where it went. I don't remember deleting it. I don't remember archiving it, and I saw it 1 minute, and then it was gone, and I really don't know where the hell I put it. So send me another email, and I'll get that taken care of tonight. Sorry about that. I saw it, and then, like I said, I went back looking for it, and I absolutely couldn't find it. Interesting webinar, lots of stuff covered. Big thanks. Yeah, big thanks for the docs, says the man. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Okay, Keith, great. I see that you sent me another email. I'll get that taken care of. Yeah, the contract will be very helpful. Hello, Dave. Dave was on your webinar. Oh, yeah. There's off topic here, guys, off topic. There's a lot of questions coming in about people that were trying to buy the SPS on the webinar and had problems with the connection. If you shoot me an email to support@wreckingballmarketing.com, we'll get you in there. So just support@wreckingballmarketing.com, and we'll take care of you. Let's see. What about share a sale piques your interest for this client? Nothing necessarily, Mike. It's just, I definitely want to get them into an affiliate program that's managed by somebody else. It's not necessarily going to be share a sale, not necessarily going to be CJ, but it is. I don't want to install affiliate software. This company does not want to cut individual affiliate checks, right? They want to cut one check a month to an affiliate program. So I'm not necessarily sold on Share a Sale or CJ. Those are just the two that popped into my head. I'll be doing the research and making a recommendation based on everything that I find. Yeah. Let's see. You're going to be sending us your templates for presenting this to a client. Which templates, sir? Punch it in real quick. It'll come up right now. I'm at the bottom of the question box. You mean the proposal? Is that what you're talking about? And the contract? The presentation. Yeah, I can. Yeah, the proposal and the contract. Yeah, I'll get you guys access to it. No sweat. No sweat. You can have it. And like I said, this is a lawyer-drawn contract, so it's a good one. Let's see. Scroll through here and grab a couple more questions, and then I'm going to go shut my yap so I can talk in the morning when I wake up. I got the webinar throat. That's what's going on. Is this situation? Let's see. Read that one already. Suggestion: double the price. So, yeah, it's a big job. You're right. Again, I think I'm going to be okay on this, guys. I really do. But whether it's crazy profitable or a miserable failure, you guys, I promise you, you're going to know how it all played out. And I'm going to let you follow along, too, if you'd like. So obviously, people are still interested, as about 98% of you that showed up tonight are still on the call. So it's obviously a topic of interest, which makes me feel real good that we're delivering. I think, are we delivering some great value for you guys tonight? Was this helpful? Lots of big yeses. Lots of big yeses. Excellent. Well, that's awesome, man. And women, excuse me. I'm so happy that we're able to help you guys out. And like I said, this was talked about inside of the my 2012 business prep class that would normally be happening right now anyway on Thursday nights. And I thought that it was something that everybody could probably use. And Mr. Harper's taking credit for the class. Mr. Harper says that it was my question that spurred the class. And there's a couple of hell yeahs right behind it. And, well, thank you, Charles, for doing that. Charles had a WSO that launched today, you guys, called the Closing Summit. Right, Charles? Is that the right name of it? Is it the Prospecting and Closing Summit? And you guys should all go check that out. No affiliate link here for you, but if you go to the Warrior Forum, you'll find it. What Charles has done is put together an all-star list of names, yours truly included. And I delivered my first webinar to the summit the other night, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And he's got some great speakers lined up, you guys. I can't recommend the WSO enough. Go pick it up. Go pick it up if you don't have it, because if you're an offliner looking to sell these big websites like this, it's going to be phenomenal information. You're going to regret it if you don't have that. How was that for some shameless promotion for you, CT? I do what I can. I do what I can, brother. Let's see. I'm going to grab shameless, says the man. I'm going to grab one more question here. Let me scroll up, see if I can find one I haven't answered. Tell you what, next question that comes in the question box is going to get taken care of. Let's see. No, this one didn't come from the spam. That's an easy one, so we'll keep going. Tell us about the WSO again. Charles has got a WSO. CT, give me a link. Can you punch a link in the question box? There's a lot of people asking for it, so let's get him a link. Give me a link real quick to that thread, brother. CT put together an all-star collection of names. He's got Mike Hiles. He's got Mike Cooch, Brian Anderson, Des Futak, Mark Helton, Chris Griffin, myself. I did the first one for him the other night. And basically what he's done is he's assembled all of the best closers in the offline world. And every one of them is doing a webinar once a week for, God, it must be like the next, 18, 19 weeks or something like that, Charles, right? And giving away the best closing information. I'm trying to get this into the question. Eric, can you put that into the chat box for everybody? Can you find some way to do that? I can't get my copy and paste to work. Oh, wait a minute. It's happening. All right, check the question box right there, guys. That's the link. That's the link. Charles says he's got 10 years worth of webinars for you. 10 years. That's the link to the Prospecting and Closing Summit, and it's phenomenal stuff. Plus, he's doing it right. He's taking all the webinars. He's breaking them into MP3s. He's giving you a PDF summary. He's got all kinds of bonuses to go with it. It's at some crazy-ass low price. What's it at over there, Charles? $11 or something, isn't it? I think it's at like $11. I don't even know. But, yep, $11.97. Can't recommend it enough. Great, great information from a lot of great people. Okay, one more question in the question box. Dave, are you going to share with us your outsourced sources? Yeah, I will. Everything that I outsource on this project, I'll tell you exactly where I went to do it, exactly how long it took, exactly what it cost, and exactly how happy I was in the end of it. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I think this was a great call. Can you please give me your email? Yeah, the email is support@wreckingballmarketing.com. support@wreckingballmarketing.com. And shoot me an email, and I will get you hooked up there, Emilio. Yeah, awesome. Lots of thanks coming in the question box. Yeah, this is, Mike says, Dave, consistent over-delivery. Thank you, sir. It's the comments like that, guys, that keep us going. That's no bullshit. Anytime I can help you guys, you know that I'm here to help. You can always get me at support@wreckingballmarketing.com, daveigo@daveigo.com, or on Skype at daveigo, all one word. With that, we're going to wrap it up, and I will email you all the date of the next webinar, and we'll keep this thing going. Let's all make some money. I will talk to you all very, very soon. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.